Welcome guys to my creative corner. This is Claudette, where I create projects using inks, stamps, papers, mixed media, embellishment, and a whole lot of joy. On today's projects, I'm going to show you how I create this beautiful rosette. So if you're interested in this, please do stick around. If this is your first time tuning into my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the bell icon so you could be notified when I upload my latest videos. So on today's project, what we're going to need is 2 strips of paper, and these are in our yellow, and we call this bumblebee. This is all by Stampin' Up, and I'm a Stampin' Up independent demonstrator. And these strips are measuring 1 inch by 11 inches. So the first thing that we're going to do with our strip of paper, we're going to take some ink. And in this case, I'm going to take our cinnamon cider. This is one of our new ink colors. We introduce 5 new colors every year, and this is one of our ink colors, and this is beautiful for the fall. So what you're going to do is just add some colors to the end of your strip. So we're just going to add that color just to the edges. So this is going to add a little texture. I'll give it a little dimensional look when we creating our rosette. And you don't have to do it on the shorter side. We're just going to do it on the 11-inch side. So you could use any colors that you have in your stash. I like the brown tones. So if you have brown tones within your stash and you have a sponge, these are our sponge daubers. Any sponge would do. So once you get that done, we're going to go ahead and score these. So I'm going to bring in our scoring tool. This is our Simply Scored tool. We're going to put it along the 11-inch side, and we're going to come down and we're going to score at every 1/2 inch. We have 2 ends of the stylus. I'm using a smaller ball instead of the larger one. So you're going to do that with both strips of paper. Then you're going to fold those along the score line, and you're going to fold them just accordion style. And you want to give them a good, nice squeeze. You want to burnish those score lines pretty good. And you want to do that for both strips of papers. So next what we're going to do is we're going to glue these 2 papers together. And you want one edge to be up and one edge to be down, and you're going to glue it that way. So I'm going to come in with my multi-purpose glue, the liquid glue, and I'm just going to add that here. And we're going to put those 2 together. And I'm using art glitter glue because sometimes I get heavy-handed on my glue and I get a little seepage. And with that, it does not dry tacky if you get seepage. So that's why I love the art glitter glue. So you're going to do it on this end. And you see this end is going up and this end is coming down. I will glue those 2 pieces together. So once you have that, you want to give that part that you glue in a good press so you could take that shape. So next what we're going to do is we're going to get the rest of our rosette parts together. Okay, so for our centerpiece, I have a circle. This is a 1-inch circle. So if you have your circle punch or any dies would do in that circular fashion. And I use a dark chocolate. We call that early espresso. And also I'm going to have the backing for this. And as well as we're going to get our leaves together. So I'm going to bring in the backing for our shape. Okay, so the backing for our rosette, I use our painted label dies, and I went ahead and cut that out. And I use the color Soft Suede to cut that out with. And this is what you end up with, just to give it a little decoration to the back. So if you have a different decor that's in a circular shape, you could use that for your backing. So we want to go ahead and have that ready. Now for the circle pieces, I use my 1-inch circle punch and I cut those out. As well, I'm going to add another circle to give this a little bit more dimension. And I'm using my Tasteful label dies. And I cut out that circle and it has a little scallop edge to the end. And also for my tag, I'm going to use this die right here. This again is the Tasteful label dies. Okay, so next what we want to do is bring in our leaves. Have those ready. So with the leaves, I got from my sunflower dies, and they have 2 parts. The solid piece and the outline piece. So you'll get 2 pieces like this, and then you'll just glue these together. Now for our centerpiece, I'm going to add a little dimension to the middle and add these little spots here to create the center of our flower. And this is just a black gel pen that I got from Amazon. And so that's going to add a little texture and give it a little shine. I'm going to list all the supplies that I use down in the description down below if you're interested in getting any of these products. Again, when you're using this gel, you want to make sure this dries completely. Okay, so we're going to set that off to the side so I don't mess up my gel. So next what we're going to do, we're going to add some more color to the edges. Again, this is going to give our flower some dimension and texture. So we're going to bring in the cinnamon cider once again, and I am just going to add some color to the edges of the leaves. And if you don't want it to come out too dark, you could stamp off. And you just want to bring a little bit into the body of the leaf. We're going to do that to both leaves. Then you want to do that as well to your circles. Just add a little color to the edges. And it's nice if you're doing your color, adding color to the edge of your cardstock to do them all one time. And before you add your dots to your circle inner part for your flower, you want to add the color to your edges. And this is my stitch label die, and that's going to be for my sentiment. I am going to go ahead and add a little color to the edges there as well. And this is also in the soft suede. and my leaves are in the green. Is called Old Olive. So next what I'm going to do is go ahead and glue my leaves down to my back layer. So I am going to bring in my silicone mat. And the silicone mat is nice because the glue does not stick on this. If it just rolls right off, it's easy to clean up when you have your silicone mat. So this is nice to have as one of your craft tools. So we're just going to add some glue just to the back here of our leaves. And then we'll just add them here to the sides. So before we add our leaf down, I want to give it a little curve. Again, that's going to add a little texture to it. And we'll go ahead and add that down. I'll do the same thing to this. Add a little glue here. This glue rolls right off your silicone mat. So we're going to bring in the base of our flower again, and I'm going to show you how you fold this in. So sometimes it could be difficult once you're initially folding it in, but once it takes the shape, it's not as bad. So before we do that, let's make sure we have our centerpiece ready to go. Our 2 brown circles, we want to go ahead and glue that together. Make sure your gel is nice and dry, and you'll put these 2 together. Okay, and your brown piece, you want to bring that in, and you want to add a little color there to the edges once your gel is dry. Then you're going to add your glue to the back and connect those 2 pieces together. So we're going to have that ready for when we put the base of our flower together. So you want your folds in a circular pattern, and you want to fold them laying in. Okay, so you want that pattern, you want them to fold laying down. So initially when you do it, it's going to be a hard time. So you want to fold them laying in, or you could fold it going out. You could fold it laying in, or you could fold it going out. Whichever is easier for you. So once you have your rosette in place, you want to make sure you have the front piece and the back piece that's going to hold the rosette together ready to go with the glue on there. So now before we get that together, we're going to add some glue here on our back piece, and we're going to add glue here to the top piece so we could be ready for putting our flower together and it doesn't bounce on us. So we're going to go ahead and get our multi-purpose glue, and we're going to be quite generous with this so those folds could stick down nicely. And especially in the middle. So you want it you glue all the way to the edge on this so you could hold those folds down. All right. So now I'm ready to fold my rosette together. Now we will add our rosette to the center of our backing, and we're going to lay just down in the center. All right. Then you're going to, as you're holding that down together so it doesn't spring on you, you want to go ahead and put your top piece on. And just center that. And then if you had a label, you want to do your label and stick it on in here one time. But I'm going to do something different with my label. And this is staying down because you know why? The back is more coverage on the back. But if you're doing, I'm going to bring in one I was practicing with. This one is 3 inches. And you see how small this inner piece is? So it just holds a little bit of those ridges, not much. And then you put one on the back. But you want to really hold this down and or put something heavy on top of it so it could dry, because it would bounce on you, because it's just a small portion covering these ridges. So the more of this outer surface you cover, the better it would hold down. I hope you understand that. So the more you cover out here, the circumference of this, the more you cover, it would hold those ridges down and it won't bounce on you. Because this, I have more coverage here, it held it down nicely. It didn't bounce on me. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and finish this up. So next, what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring in a skewer. You may have some of these already in your kitchen. So you could make centerpieces with these. You know, you just stick it into your foam for your flowers. So what I'm going to do is just take some multi-purpose glue, just add a little bit around this. And then I am just going to add it right in here. Let's see, to my flower. And I am going to bring in, fix my sentiment. And we're going to add this to our skewer. And I am going to get some Memento black ink. And I am going to stamp happy birthday on there. And this sentiment is from our Itty Bitty Greetings, guys. And these have 32 sentiments in it. So this is a nice little set to get. It comes in 2 cases because it's so huge. So I'm going to go ahead and ink this up. And I'm going to, being that I'm going to glue this to the skewer, I'm going to stamp the sentiment closer to this right side. So I'm going to ink this up. And I'm going to try to get this to the center. So that came out okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put my ink up. And you want to make sure your ink is nice and dry. So what you could do is go ahead and add a little fold to this, or you could leave it straight. But to this end right here, we're going to bend it in. So we're going to just put a little bend on this, and then we're going to add some glue to that and glue that to our skewer. So I add a little bit of glue to that, and you just want to hold that just down a little while so it could dry. So once that's dry, I'm going to go ahead and bring in some twine. So we're going to tie a bow around our skewer. And I cut 2 pieces of twine, and they're about 15 inches in length each. So you could trim your bow down. You could make it as small or as big as you would like. If you guys are getting any creative value from this video, please go ahead and smash the like button down below. We could trim these off, make them a little shorter. And I just think I want to add a couple more dots here. It just didn't look balanced. All right, so I'm going to bring in some others that I created before. So you could create these rosette. These would be awesome for baby showers. You could put them on your gift bags, your gift boxes. You could make centerpieces for these. You could get creative. Get out there and be creative, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to my creative corner. This is Claudette, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.